If I received $10 for every time I had
demons coming inside me,
I would unfortunately have exactly $0. Thanks to Doom Eternal, however, I can live out all of my sick fantasies through the monitor as Doom Guy without the use of Rule 34. Doom Eternal throws you straight to the wolves where you'll be playing as Master Chief from Fortnite. Basically, the premise of this game is that demons are invading Earth, and that makes you very angry, so you murder all of them. The game consists of 13 missions, and it took me about 9 hours to complete my playthrough. Considering that there isn't much to do in this game besides rip and tear, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the amount of variety when it comes to map design. Every single mission had a unique design and layout that made it feel quite different from the rest, and there were even constantly new enemies to fight, secrets to find, and challenges to conquer across every single level. Some personal favorites of mine being Super Gore Nest and Erdek. Upon starting the game, you'll be armed with nothing but a shotgun, a chainsaw, and perchance even a boner, because this game is hard as hell. Even on the second lowest difficulty, of which there are 6, I was constantly getting shit on as if I was Indian street food. I will admit that on more than one occasion, I was ready to give up entirely, but then I remembered that just like drunk driving, it gets a whole lot easier the more often you do it. When it comes to gameplay, this is in fact an arena shooter, meaning that it's incredibly chaotic, and honestly, I wouldn't even fault you for believing that you're playing an MMO, because the sheer amount of buttons you need to press within a 5-second window to maximize your slaughtering potential is a little bit freaking insane. For starters, you have to constantly swap between weapons in order to achieve maximum efficiency, and there are 9 of them to use, consisting of the combat shotgun, super shotgun, heavy cannon, chain gun, plasma gun, ballista, rocket launcher, BFG, and the crucible, as well as grenades. In combat, your main source of ammunition for these weapons will come from killing enemies with your chainsaw. And to be totally honest, I enjoyed using the chainsaw about as much as a Jewish man enjoys the lore of the mid-20th century. Being forced out of combat every minute or so to watch a painfully long animation replenish only a portion of your ammo, and subsequently use all of that ammo, only to then repeat this process multiple times for every single large encounter was a cool gimmick at first, but it quickly made the game feel like a chore to me. I know this is a pretty hot take within the Doom community, and somebody's inevitably gonna write up an hour-long essay explaining how I'm stupid, and the chainsaw is awesome because it forces you to play strategically and learn the best weapons for each encounter, and I don't understand the subtle intricacies of balancing an arsenal of guns because I can't just spam 2 weapons back and forth and blah blah f***ing blah. I completely understand what the chainsaw is there for, and I'm not calling it inherently bad, but I'm just trying to enjoy the goddamn game, and the chainsaw as a mechanic simply isn't fun to me because it forces me into a playstyle that I don't particularly enjoy, where I'm swapping between 8 different weapons every 5 seconds, and I hate that I have to rely on it as my main source of ammunition multiple times throughout every single encounter. Moving on, as combat progresses further, your health and armor values will be dropping rapidly, as if they were doing a Bitcoin cosplay. When you inevitably become tired of being physically assaulted by a gaggle of demons, you have 2 options. You can either glory kill your way through the hordes for health drops, or set them ablaze as if they were witches in order to snag some Fortnite Victory Royale shield potions for the road. Enemy variety consists of demons from all walks of life, such as Doctor Strange from Doctor Strange, John Cena from WWE, Stephen Hawking from Make-A-Wish Foundation, and even Shaquille O'Neal from basketball, as well as a whole lot more like empowered demons, which are demons that have killed another player in their playthrough. Every enemy has its own strengths and weaknesses, such as the Revenant's cannons, or the Pinky's tail being their weak points that make each encounter require a good bit of skill, strategy, and general game knowledge. Bosses are very sparse, but they're all designed rather well and always feel like a unique challenge that greatly tests what you've learned up until that point. If you like what you're seeing so far, consider hitting that like and subscribe, and I might even give you a really passionate kiss on the lips as I look into your eyes and tell you how much The tile sets you'll be fighting in are rather well made. There's a ton of verticality utilizing platforms, plenty of environmental weapons such as explosive barrels, health, armor, ammo, and buff pickups, as well as a lot of open space to make use of the game's wonderful movement system, which consists of dashing, jumping, grappling, and mantling. Throughout the campaign, you'll find plenty of upgrades for Master Chief, such as weapon upgrades that add alternate fire modes to your guns like the sticky bomb launcher for the combat shotgun, runes that alter how core mechanics behave like faster glory kills, as well as a slow time effect upon taking lethal damage, Praetor tokens that allow you to purchase suit upgrades, and Sentinel crystals to increase your maximum health, ammo, and armor capacities, as well as provide you with minor passive buffs. There's also a whole lot of secrets to find which are about as useful as a fleshlight in a power outage, but they still add an element of replayability, so who am I to complain? Finally, you can find secret encounters, which are short and sweet timed encounters that give you weapon upgrade points, and Slayer Gates, which are extremely challenging optional arenas that award you with several weapon upgrade points, as well as an Empyrean key, which can be used to unlock a special weapon. My only real complaint about the campaign is that there's an overabundance of puzzles shoehorned in between encounter zones that greatly break up the flow of gameplay. It's almost like somebody at id Software watched a Minecraft Let's Player and asked themselves how they could translate that personality into a gameplay mechanic. And the result of that was puzzles in a fast-paced first-person shooter, mind you, which are annoying, obnoxious, and to be quite frank, extremely gay. There's also quite a few parkour sections, but they aren't nearly as obnoxious as the puzzles, and in my opinion serve as a nice little break from the action. Outside of the main campaign, you have 3 additional game modes, the first one being Horde mode, which is kind of like a roguelike game mode consisting of 3 missions that each have 5 rounds. These rounds can be arenas, which are, in fact, wave-based arenas as the name would imply, Traversal, which is a parkour challenge, and Blitz, which tasks you with killing as many enemies as possible in a short time frame, as if you are an American high schooler who just discovered the Second Amendment for the first time. You'll start off on round 1 with nothing but a combat shotgun, and every couple of rounds you'll receive a new weapon. There's also Battle Mode, which is the PvP game mode in Doom where 2 demons will face off against the Slayer, and finally Master Levels, which are just harder versions of the main campaign levels. The game even has events, which are just a battle pass, and as you complete challenges, missions, etc., you'll get XP towards the event and be rewarded with all sorts of cosmetics like emblems and skins for Doomslayer and your battle mode demons. When it comes to the DLC, being Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2, it's pretty much just more Doom Eternal, except Part 1 is more challenging than the entirety of the main campaign, whereas Part 2 was toned down a lot, but still provides a greater challenge than the base game. It continues the story right where the main campaign left off, and you get 7 new missions in total across Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 even has a new encounter type called Escalation Encounters, which consist of 2 waves, the first of which is mandatory and gives you a Sentinel Hammer upgrade, the Sentinel Hammer being a new weapon you unlock in Part 2 that replaces the Crucible and serves as a new way to get ammo. The second wave is optional and unlocks a cosmetic upgrade. On top of this, there's even 3 new bosses, and nearly a dozen new enemies including Armored Barons, Bloodmakers, and good old Spirits. Overall, Doom Eternal is a wonderfully action-packed horde shooter filled with tons of unique enemies, secrets, challenges, and game modes that will keep you thirsting for more. There are some very obnoxious elements of the game that can occasionally hamper the overall experience, but just like a medieval peasant who survives sorely on bread rations, you'll always be coming back for more. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.